What else can I, 35M, do to enhance my wife's, 32F, homecoming tonight? My wife has been on a draining 12-day trip with our 1-year-old. I've deep cleaned the house, washed towels and sheets, and am making her favorite dinner for when she gets in. What else can I do to prep for her return? I want to make sure she feels appreciated and treated. Be ready to take over all childcare for 24 hours the second you see her face. She needs a break and rest. That is what I personally would appreciate. Great point. Although after almost 2 weeks without my daughter, you won't be able to separate us. My heart, sad face, heart. Anyway, do things that you've seen spark her eyes. Maybe she likes a good old classic meal in her PJs with you and then a nice long movie. Give her some rubs, some words of appreciation, a nice scented bath maybe, and most importantly be consistent in everything you do. I can't stop oohing lol. Heart, great points to keep in mind. Thank you. Take over kid duties as much as possible for a while, give her a break. Take on the midnight calls from the child if he or she isn't sleeping through the night yet. Besides, you haven't seen your kid in 12 days. You need the rebonding time anyway. Smile. I was going to say, you couldn't stop me from daughter time at this point. But great point, I will be covering both the fun and work parts to give wifey a break. That sounds so nice already. Throw some candles and a bouquet of flowers in there and I'm sure she'll be happy. If you have a bathtub, maybe clean the tub for her and give her some alone time to take a bath. Oh, good call. I'll also chill a bottle of the rosé she likes. Dessert, and make sure there are enough groceries and kids supplies, diapers, formula, bottles, food, wipes, etc., so that neither of you have to leave the house tomorrow. Telling her you missed her, and obviously showing her, is the best welcome home gift. This is terrific. Oh, slippers waiting for her at the door! Exclamation mark. I love it. Thank you for the tip. My girlfriend, 21/F, doesn't take my friend's experience with abuse seriously and I wonder if I should be concerned. I was driving with my girlfriend the other day who I've been with for 6 months. We were talking about a good friend of mine that she's met before. He has a few weird quirks and she asked me something about them. In part of my answer I happened to mention that he was in a bad abusive relationship a little over a year ago. She was surprised and asked me if he was gay. I said no, it was a girl. She immediately kind of laughed a little and said something like, oh come on, don't give me that shit, that wasn't abuse. I didn't know exactly what she was on about, so I explained that I personally saw his girlfriend hit him in the face twice, and that I helped him out of suicidal thoughts that he was having as a result of that relationship. She said if a girl ever gets mad enough to hit a guy it's because he deserves it. Then she said to me, and don't you forget it. Now I want to say, the don't forget it part was definitely a joke. I can't reproduce her tone and everything, but she didn't mean it seriously and she was smiling when she said it. And that whole last statement itself seemed to be a little tongue-in-cheek, like she said it just to be over the top or something. But regardless, she clearly had no empathy for his situation and that made me slightly concerned. I'm a little sensitive to these issues because my mom's second husband was abusive and that was absolutely horrible to watch. And then just by chance my best friend had his own abusive experience a few years later. I've learned a lot from those experiences and I could understand how one might not take these issues seriously until you've been involved with them, so I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt. I think I'm overreacting, but I wanted to ask if you all thought this was a red flag. Your girlfriend definitely has some shitty views about abuse and buys into a lot of toxic stereotypes and assumptions about masculinity. The joke probably was tongue-in-cheek, but it is horrendously inappropriate to make that joke, more so even than usual, in that moment while denying an abuse survivor's experience. It is never acceptable to say that someone deserves the abuse they experience at the hand of anyone, much less a partner who should love and protect them. I'm a male abuse victim. I was with my abuser, a female, for 2 years. Your girlfriend is an insensitive sexist pig. Emotional abuse, as well as physical, can be a weapon wielded by anyone regardless of, insert arbitrary human feature here / including women against a male. There is this preconceived notion that men cannot be abused by women, not just women who perpetuate such ridiculous nonsense, but it both entails that women are too weak to be able to be an abuser to a male and that male must be delusional for thinking that they can be abused by a woman. So it's both shitting all over men and women to believe in such thinking. Gotta love how sexism benefits nobody and shits on everyone. Think of it this way. A bully is an abuser with narcissistic sadistic qualities. Obviously we know women can be bullies. Does she also deny women can bully men? Because I had this person in my high school days who pretended to be interested in me, even set me up on a date and ended up flaking on me. Then when I confronted her, she was surrounded by her friends laughing at me. So if your GF is really gonna say to my face so that's not abuse, she can fuck off. This is like straight up foreshadowing to a horrible abusive relationship that magically makes you the bad guy when it ends. I'd run, bro. Hell, had I listened to my own instincts, I would have run when my own abusive ex said something similar to me during our honeymoon phase. I wouldn't even be friends with someone who holds that view. I know far too many male and female abuse survivors. Frankly, that's a bye Felicia moment. Edit, grammar. I'm someone that can look past just about any joke, as long as it's clearly a joke, but in this case it sounds like she has very real beliefs that men can't be abused because they deserve it. The fact that she's also making jokes about it doesn't mean she isn't serious. This should be very alarming to you as it indicates A, lack of empathy, and B, the possibility of abuse after you get out of the honeymoon phase. How do I address my F29 girlfriend, F31, using the N-word? I, F29, am staying with my girlfriend Mary, F31, of 9 months for an extended period of time. Today, her friend John, M30, came over to fix an electrical problem at the house. All three of us are white. They are from conservative rural Illinois, while I am from a rather liberal city. We were chatting in the kitchen when John used the N-word to refer to a person who is lazy and does shoddy work. Mary then used the word in the same way. When Mary left the room, John used the N-word again. I was deeply offended and uncomfortable, and it must have shown in my face, because he said, "Oh, I don't mean it in that way." I told him that I find the word offensive and he apologized. After John left, I was still feeling very uncomfortable with both of their uses of this racial slur. I brought it up to Mary and asked why they use the word that way. She said John is uneducated and doesn't know any better, and few black people live in their community, but the ones that do cause trouble. She said she used it because he did. She was upset that I ruined a perfectly good evening over something said in private that doesn't affect me, and that she and John would be perfectly nice to black people in person. I feel that using racist slurs perpetuates systemic racism and oppression. How can I talk to my girlfriend about racism and why it's offensive to use the N-word in this way? Currently, she's livid with me for saying anything at all. Start by asking her to explain in detail why she thinks it's okay to use a racial slur behind people's back but not to their faces, and see if she makes the connection to why it's not okay. She said John is uneducated and doesn't know any better, and few black people live in their community, but the ones that do cause trouble. The girlfriend already answered that she agrees with him and just thinks it was stupid of him to blurt it out in mixed company. The girlfriend is a racist in her heart. If she wanted to change that, she'd be working on it. This is a 31-year-old adult. She's a racist, and probably always will be. I once had a roommate use the N-word to describe black guys on dating apps. Hard R. I called her out on it immediately and she backtracked, saying she only meant ignorant, as if that was somehow better. I also caught her referring to someone as a Chinaman, dude. Not the preferred nomenclature. Another time, she talked about a woman she drove around for Uber who tried to Jew down the price. Needless to say, she ain't my roommate anymore, and good riddance to that racist nut job. As a black person, the fact that she will say it in white-only company but likely will not in front of a black person makes me uncomfortable as hell. The fact that her reason is to appease the known ignorant, uneducated racist. This shit scares the fuck out of me. This is the basis for how a racist posse might be formed. Tell her I said this. If someone has to be racist, I'd rather them be racist to my face instead of hiding it from me so I don't waste my fucking time trying to engage them in any kind of way. Racists don't deserve an ounce of my energy. Good luck.